We are live. Are we live? Does it say anything? Oh yeah, there it is.
Woo! Are we live? I gotta refresh this.
That's kind of loud though. Can I put the microphone down here?
Put it under your hat.
Put it under my hat?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself while I sneeze.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm done sneezing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Unmuted my sneezing self? My self sneezing?
Yeah.
Alright.
Now,
Sweet.
can you share the thing to get people to come?
Yeah, totally. Let's open up the Twitter.
Alright.
Twitter. So, I want to tell you a funny story as well. I should have told you this before we started, but I can tell everyone the funny story.
Alright.
I'm just going to tweet this. Come, podcast is...
Oh, there's people.
Occur.
It says bless you. David
Thank you,
and
people.
Eric.
Wow. Cometh with the game over Jesse. Okay, so here's a funny story. So
Alright, tell us the story.
today I was streaming on Twitch. Twitch.tv/CaptBurgerson.
Okay.
and generally what happens is I'll stream till about between 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific time, my time. And then I'll stop streaming and I'll tune into maybe Miss Click's stream and I'll grab a bite to eat before I go and pick my child up from school. Because school's out about just before 3-ish, right? So she usually starts streaming at 1 p.m. Pacific time as well. So sometimes there's a little bit of overlap there, right? So today on her stream, she started her stream and she's like, let's watch Daniel stream a bit. So with her people, they popped over to my stream and they came at the weirdest time because they were just catching the tail end of a joke with no context, which ended in me shouting, "That's my sausage oil. Respect my sausage oil." And there was context to that joke. Which you would know. And the bananas. Oh no. So there was context to that joke, which you would have if you had been watching the stream prior to that point. But her reaction just being live on her stream being like, what? What is he talking about? And everyone in her stream being like, what did he just say? Respect my sausage oil? And everyone's like in all caps. and then they left. and yes, that happened. And I'm pretty sure no one from her stream will ever tune in to any of my streams ever again because of that. So just remember that, well, the context of sausage oil was someone asked, it was RPG, my good friend RPG asked me what the term SO meant because he saw someone post about it on Twitter and had the term SO in it. So I was explaining to him SO means significant others. I keep looking at your bananas. Oh my god. No, it's great. Don't stop. So I explained, SO stands for significant other, no big deal. And then in the chat they just started listing other things that SO could stand for, and one of them was sausage oil. So that was kind of the lead up to that joke. But
nice.
It evolved from there, and yeah, that's my story, Jesse.
I like it.
And you can go back to her recent stream today, and it's around the 57-minute mark on her stream where she tunes in, and I'm playing Starlink, and I'm like, "That's my sausage oil. Respect my sausage oil." So, rip. RPG is in the chat. Hey, buddy. And he has a point. There's no bad publicity, apparently. So
Who is?
that's what RPG said in the chat. There's no bad publicity. That's what I've heard. You know, all publicity is good publicity.
All? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I wish I had
90%
somewhere
sure.
to place my microphone.
On your head. You
Maybe.
just take it and you put it.
Like if I set it on
Don't
the
do
laptop,
that though. It's actually
it's-
very
it
sketchy.
gets loud. And if I put it beside, you can hear the fan. But I guess you guys will have to put up with the fan. I don't know.
I guess so. Give me half a second here.
Okay. I can keep everyone entertained. Everyone in the chat, let us know if you had to delete one Zelda game from existence in order to get a brand new Zelda game immediately. What Zelda game would you delete? Let us know. So, like, if there were no more Zelda games that could be made unless you deleted Twilight Princess or Link's Awakening, which Zelda would you delete? I hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I think we're having an okay day. RPG, A Link to the Past remake. What? Yeah, that's the Best Buy leaks. We'll get to that later. Spirit Tracks, says David. Why would you delete Spirit Tracks? That's... Oh geez. Zelda 2, all the CDI games. So they're answering the question.
What?
If they had to, like, if Miyamoto came out and said, there's too many Zelda games, we have to get rid of one before we can make another. We have to make room. There's no room on the timeline for another Zelda game to exist.
There's no room.
So we
Just
have
delete
to...
one?
Yeah, so we have to delete one Zelda game before we can get a new Zelda game.
Oof. Okay. Wow. That's kind of discriminatory. I guess Triforce Heroes.
That's
Gotta
what
go.
that's what they say in the chat.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thought David Hernandez in the chat says Spirit Tracks. Why would you get rid of Spirit Tracks but keep Phantom Hourglass? Doesn't make sense. If you got a CDI games, I don't think they count. I think Nintendo's already deleted them. You know, like they've already done that part.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay,
they've
well-
tried their best to get everyone to forget about them.
they
They
tried.
have the obligatory one sentence in Hyrule Insight, or no.
Hyrule Historia
Yeah.
has it, I think.
Yeah, they have like one sentence each. And it's like, this is a game, it existed, was not made by Nintendo.
Pretty much. They just, you know, that's more acknowledgement than those games have gotten before. So I guess that's good, maybe. Yeah, but I do think Triforce Heroes has the least bearing on the overall story. So maybe Four Swords, like OG Four Swords, if I had it, is another one I might delete. Because we've already got Four Swords Adventure, which is very similar but better, and Minish Cap is really good. So, you know, Four Swords can just that can be the one that I could part with in good conscience, I guess.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to begin the podcast, right?
I think so.
All right. Let's begin with the Best Buy leak. Do you want to start it?
Oh. Okay. Let's do that. Did we do an intro yet? Did you want to do an intro? Do you
Oh
want
yeah,
me to do
I
an
guess
intro?
I forgot, since we were like joking around for about 30 minutes.
Ooh,
Hello
yeah, good
everyone,
point.
welcome to episode almost at 70. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 90
Oh,
of the... Is that right?
is it 90?
We were at
Or
89,
80.
right?
I thought we were at 70. I don't know now. Oh no. What was our last one? Wasn't our last one 78?
Was it 79? I don't know.
Was
Okay,
it?
We'll be
boy.
79. I don't know.
It's an episode of the
Yeah,
podcast.
numbers are hard. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast, where we exist outside of time and space. So, keeping numbers for weeks are hard. So, today we're going to be talking about the Best Buy leaks, where they apparently leaked Metroid Prime Trilogy, Persona 5, A Link to the Past, and possibly some other Nintendo Switch games. Daniel's going to be giving his thoughts on Yoshi's Crafted World. Are you okay?
We got a super chat.
Oh, $2 from David. Will Deletion put that game on top of Remake list? No, that's
because they unmake it, so they have to make it again.
They could
before remaking it.
They could. They could make it after. Okay, so here's the situation, because they kind of did this already. So they had A Link to the Past originally, and then they made the sequel to it that took place in the same world for the Satellaview,
right?
Which was
it was Ancient Stone Tablets.
Yeah, it was like a direct sequel, took place in the exact same world and everything, but they kind of forgot about it, never released it officially.
Such a shame.
So,
Such a shame.
Yeah, so then, like 20 years later or something like that, they ended up making another sequel that took place in the same world and everything, and they called it A Link Between Worlds. So they kind of like erased one Zelda game from existence. I don't even think they spoke about it in Hyrule Historia. Maybe they did. I don't know. But it would kind of be like a situation like that, to where they had an A Link to the Past sequel that took place in the same world, and then they got rid of it, and then they made another. So it would be a situation like that, I imagine. Hey, Game Over Jesse. First off, hello. Second off, I'm going to probably get crucified by this, but I'm not very excited at the idea of A Link to the Past remastered. Not a big fan of the original. Well, that's why you should be a fan of it getting remastered or remade, because they could fix a lot of the issues that you had with it. That's the entire point of remaking a game, is making it upgraded and better for everyone. So
also for making money.
No, yeah. that is also a thing. But yeah, so we're gonna be talking about the new Yoshi game.
Awesome.
Then we're gonna be talking about. Wait, hold on a second.
Wow.
I put the Link to the Past and Best Buy leak on here as two different things, but it's the same thing. One of these is supposed to be the Monolith Soft creating a new Zelda.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that. And we will end it with a discussion on Ocarina of Time theories about the different temples in Ocarina of Time. And then we will end taking a few questions from the live chat.
Sorry, are you laughing at me editing the Google Doc while you're talking?
Kayla eats Dookie.
I didn't put that in there.
I guess this is why you're a blognar. So if you want to guarantee your question to be answered on the live chat, or for the Zelda mailbag, you can become a Patreon supporter, where you can get awesome stuff like the Game Over Jesse shirt or the Hylian Gamescast shirt. You can give ideas for videos. You can be on videos. You can have your question guaranteed to be answered at the end of the podcasts, as well as get shout-outs in the video, just as Wild Horse 64, Samuel, Ranjamin, Foxo, Android, Jonathan, David, Amanda, Jacob, Derek, Blargnar, Michelle, Mandy Lee Plays, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Vortex, Gus, Monica, Link, Use the Triforce, Lunarium, Shadow to Us, Rusty, Lovable Christy, Fallen, Echo, and Halo Justin.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Thank you, humans.
You can hear the fans beating up.
I can't.
You can't. I can. So yeah, go ahead and start us off.
Good for you.
Daniel.
Sorry. But yes, let's jump in with this Best Buy leak here. So I'm pretty sure everyone's heard by now, but Best Buy. This is a rumor, just so you know, guys. It's not confirmed or anything, but the rumor is Best Buy had a leak teasing Persona 5, Metroid Prime Trilogy, and A Link to the Past are Switch bound. So this news comes from Nintendo Life, but you can actually find it from Twitter, where the person
Or from Best
posted
Buy.
it, or from Best Buy, who's probably putting out fires right now. So a leak via Best Buy's internal employee terminal. So basically, just their internal system for managing their inventory and what's coming into inventory. Their SKU system or SKU system. A leak via Best Buy's internal employee terminal suggests Persona 5 Metroid Prime Trilogy and A Link to the Past will be released on the Nintendo Switch at some point in the near future. This follows the apparent leak of Joker's render in Smash Bros. Ultimate over the weekend. Below is photographic evidence of Persona 5's
Wait,
listening.
Joker? From the movie
Persona...
that just had the trailer release?
Nope, not that one.
Not that Joker?
Not wrong one.
Is it the Joker from the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, he goes Persona. Like that.
Okay,
So...
that's definitely. That's I've never heard Batman Joker do that.
So not the Batman Joker, for all those confused. Yes, and there are some. Do you have the images up, Jesse? For humans to see. Do people want to see? You can find them on Twitter, guys.
Yeah, we will have that on the edited version.
Edited version of this. But for those live, you know what? I'll put a link in the live chat for the live folks that are curious. Now I hear the fan. Now I hear it. It really picked up there. If these listings are correct, it would make a lot of sense considering the ongoing rumors over the past couple of months since the reveal for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Persona 5 has been rumored for the Switch. The Metroid Prime Trilogy was first spotted on a Swedish retailer website last September, and most recently in March, prior to the reveal of Cadence of Hyrule Crypt of the Necrodancer, we found out that Zelda Link's Awakening might not be the only 2D Zelda game coming to Nintendo Switch device this year. Further to this, it's not mentioned in this article, but the guy on Twitter who initially posted this mentions that it's definitely not a misposting internally that's supposed to be Link's Awakening, because it's a separate SKU from Link's Awakening. So they've got their internal Link's Awakening posting and their Link to the Past postings. So it's not like this was just a mistake internally that they put the wrong title for Link's Awakening. So yeah, this is of course a leak on Twitter about an internal system that only employees at a retailer can check. So we gotta at this point take things with a grain of salt. But that's the leak. Generally, retailer leaks are a little more reliable than 4chan postings. So
yeah.
What do you got to say about this, Jesse? What are your thoughts?
I'm excited for Miyamoto. As we know, he for a long time, for the past 10 years, has been wanting an A Link to the Past remake. There were rumors a long time ago, right after Ocarina of Time 3D released. There were hints and stuff that they had, and they were always being questioned. They were always hinting towards a Majora's Mask 3D release and A Link to the Past 3D release. Majora's Mask, although they denied it many times, they ended up actually releasing it, and the A Link to the Past ended up becoming A Link Between Worlds, because the story there goes that Miyamoto wanted to create a remake using the power of the 3DS of A Link to the Past, and Aonuma wanted to work on an entirely new game. So they ended up compromising, and they came up with a reimagining of sorts. So not necessarily a remake, not quite a new game, somewhere in the middle, uses the same world, locations, character models, and everything, but it's a new Link and a new story. So
Yeah, but it's a great game. I love it.
yeah, yeah. But an actual remake with them doing this for Link's Awakening, I kind of just thought that maybe this would happen eventually, that they would make Link's Awakening and then A Link to the Past. Honestly, I would have expected Link to the. No, that's a lie. I wouldn't expect A Link to the Past to come first because we already had A Link Between Worlds. So Link's Awakening was kind of already expected. But we talked about how they could make Link's Awakening worth $60. So
Right.
if they added in some online functionality, some new stuff like they did with Twilight Princess, to where they give you the new dungeon and everything.
Hmm.
And even that, like Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD, whenever they released for the Wii U, they were just $50. And those games would have taken a lot longer to make than just Link's Awakening. And Link's Awakening isn't nearly as large as either of those games. So it's literally half the Zelda game as the others. So I don't see it being $60. I thought maybe if they added in a bunch of stuff or an online mode or some new dungeons or something like that, maybe they could make it end up being $60. Or even if they had like a heroes mode added onto it to where like you mixed all of the dungeons or something, then it could be
Oh
$60.
yeah, that'd be
But
cool.
with this A Link to the Past remake, I could see it being like releasing this for $50 and releasing A Link to the Past for $50, and then having it so if you buy one, you get like 10% off of the other, like they do with um, what is it? Like the Pokemon games or Fire Emblem, to where they release multiple copies and you can buy them together to get uh, money saved. So I imagine it
Right.
maybe being something like that. I'm not really sure, but either way, it's going to make E3 1,000 times better, being able to not just play Link's Awakening, but A Link to the Past, both remade in HD.
Yeah,
What would be
that would be
even
cool.
better is if this was not a 2D remake, but an actual 3D remake. So, walking around the world with the behind the camera point of view, but I don't think they would do that. That's just kind of a
Yeah.
wish from me. Because we've
Yeah,
already
I don't
seen
think
what the
they
world
will,
would
but
look like, uh, spruced up a bit. And then would it have the same art style as Link's Awakening, or what would they do there? Like, would it look like the I thought it looked like a Christmas cartoon stop motion claymation thing.
yeah,
Like
like the rank
those,
pass.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
what
I
are your
mean,
thoughts on all this?
art style wise, I feel like they could really take it either way. Like, it would be kind of more true to the original to keep it sort of in a Link Between Worlds style, but then we have a Link Between Worlds, so that's kind of boring. But because it's already, it's a derivative of something that's derivative of the original game. Um, I really like the art style of Link's Awakening. Just it's very unique. So I feel like that would be probably something they'd lean more into. But yeah, I mean, personally, the Link to the Past part of this is the part of the leak that I take with the heaviest grain of salt because it's so out of left field. And I feel like if Nintendo was remaking this game, it feels weird to me that they would do it before, or that what they wouldn't do it before Link's Awakening. Like I really feel like doing Link's Awakening first, even though that's the sequel, feels kind of weird. But it's Nintendo. It's really hard to nail down a logical way that they do anything, right? So, um, I feel like the Metroid Prime part of it and the Persona part of it are almost like a given at this point. Um, but I'm still psyched if Metroid Prime does come to Switch. That'll be still. Never played a Persona game, to be honest with you guys. So maybe I'm terrible, as a person. But um, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I feel like the Link's Awakening art style would be more what I'd lean towards being likely at this point, but that's me. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's cool.
No, I had my thing muted so the fan wasn't a problem. I think the biggest, like what would sell the best would be the Metroid Prime Trilogy. And I think that is kind of a no-brainer now, especially since fans are going to have to wait even longer. There was the you could make the point that why would they release a Metroid Prime HD trilogy, and then the same year release Metroid Prime 4? Because
yeah, but
then,
if they're not releasing Metroid Prime 4 this year, then yeah,
because
totally
then
makes sense.
like the person that plays through all of the Metroid Prime trilogy would get their fill of Metroid, and then they'd be like, well, I already have these 3 great games. Why take the risk of getting a mediocre game? So, yeah, with it being delayed, I could see them actually releasing an HD thing. And then Persona, like, maybe they want to save the announcement until, like, around the same time that Joker is actually playable in the game. That way everyone can get hyped for Persona and then go out and actually buy or pre-order the game. And then I think those are the only 3 games. But yeah, Link to the Past is definitely the weirdest. But it's the most interesting because Metroid Prime Trilogy, we know what that could be. We know what Persona 5 could be. I think it was on PlayStation 3 as well, so they would have no issue at all making it work on the Switch, since the Switch is a lot more powerful than the PlayStation 3. Right. So
yeah, and like from what I've seen of Persona 5, it doesn't look like a graphically intensive game. It looks very stylized. It really looks like something that would be at home, to be honest.
It has that anime look.
It does, yeah, and it looks really good. I really like the art style for it, actually. Very, very clean and stylized, and just I know something a lot of people talk about is the UI is like super good in that game apparently, which sounds minor, but like if that's how you interact with your interactive medium, then it's actually really important of something to be clean and well thought out. So yeah, it's on my list, but the thing is that my list of like games I want to get is like way too long, so I don't know when I'd be getting to it. Yeah.
All right, I think we can move on to the next thing on our list.
Toads My Goats.
Which is
not the Link to the Past that you put in here, but the Monolith thing, right?
Yeah.
Monolith.
All right, so
take us away.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast. Today we're going to be talking about the Monolith Soft hiring a lot of new employees to work on the next Legend of Zelda project. For those who don't know, Monolith Soft has had a long history of working on Zelda games. I think they began working on Skyward Sword, and then they continued switching off to other Nintendo games, even Splatoon they worked on, and most recently...
switching off.
Yeah. Most recently, they had like 170, or I think Aonuma said there was over 170 or 180 employees that Monolith Soft had working on Breath of the Wild. And that was on top of all of the people who actually worked on Breath of the Wild from Nintendo. And then there was also people from other companies that worked on Breath of the Wild. So, yeah, tons of people that worked on Breath of the Wild. But this is for the next Zelda game, which Nintendo had already been working on since Breath of the Wild released. So why would Monolith Soft be hiring more employees at this point if they already had 170 people working on Breath of the Wild, unless they let some of them go where they're working on an entirely new game? So they had to hire more to help out with Nintendo, but then that just brings up the question, why wouldn't Nintendo, like if they're paying Monolith Soft all this money to hire people to work on Zelda, why wouldn't Nintendo save money and hire people themselves? That way they wouldn't have to pay the overhead of getting Monolith Soft. So the question is that everyone's been tossing around, is Monolith Soft themselves working on a new Zelda game that is different from the one that Nintendo is working on? Maybe it's a thing to where Nintendo's big Zelda game is going to take longer than expected, so they asked Monolith Soft to put together another quick Zelda game. When I say quick, that sounds bad, but if you remember, Majora's Mask was made in a year. Wind Waker was made in 2 years. So, like, it's not really that bad at all. Twilight Princess was going to be released in, I think, 3 years before they decided to completely change the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they changed that game. I believe there was a thing where they had a deadline, and there was an interview in the Iwata Asks where one of the employees says that Aonuma came in like a month before the deadline and was like, oh, we should change this. And then once that changed, they were like, we should change this and this and this. And they ended up completely changing the game around. So they ended up having to delay it for like another 2 years because
the Zelda game got delayed.
Yeah, like the game was literally almost done, and then Aonuma was like, nope, let's make it completely different. Which happens when, like...
They should have delayed Wind Waker. And put all those extra dungeons that they cut out into the game.
Yeah, so because it's like, in a way, if you think of it from Aonuma or one of their perspectives, like, they're coming in, they're seeing the same thing every day for years. So even though it's a new game that's not even released yet, to them, they could be like, well, this looks old, like, it's not interesting anymore. Even though when you first seen it, you might have been interested, but then seeing it so many times and playing through it 1,000 times, it gets old and boring, and you're like, oh, well, let's make something new. So it kind of makes sense, because what they could have had originally could have been better than what we ended up getting. It's just that where they had seen it 1,000 times, they were like, no, let's do something new. So,
yeah. No, fair enough.
But anyways, Monolith Soft. They have... a lot of experience working on Zelda games, so I would be excited to see what they could do with Zelda. I wonder what the situation is. Like, are they working on something new, or are they just hiring more people to help out on the next Zelda game? Because maybe some of the other people are working on Xenoblade 3 or something. Who knows? What are your thoughts, Daniel?
Well, yeah. No, so Monolith, they also worked on, or they did the Xenoblade games, right? So, I mean, it's possible that they're kind of, I don't know necessarily if they're working on more Xenoblade or something, but man, this banana is getting me hungry. They probably have projects of their own that they're working on, as well as assisting Nintendo with Zelda stuff. So part of me wonders, like, if what happened is they were making Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right? And Nintendo's like, hey, Breath of the Wild thing happening, you guys got to help us. So they split off the team, some of them to work on Breath of the Wild and some of them to continue working on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right? And now they want to continue helping with Zelda, but they also still want to continue making their games. So they, I guess maybe my thought is, are making this split
David
more
donated
permanent.
$1 for the banana.
David, a different David than last time though. David Thompson, $1. Thank you, David. If you got a question or you want something you got to shout us out or say something, let us know right away. We'll drop it all for you, my friend. Chublima, no, you're wrong. Podcast is not better without you. You're wrong.
We began with bananas.
Both
of us began the podcast with bananas on our heads.
It's true. General Kenorby. Great username. But yeah, so part of me thought like they had to split the Xenoblade Chronicles 2
Our
team.
donator, David Thompson, says, could it be possible that Monolith is hiring more people to work on a Skyward Sword remake? I say no, because I believe Tantalus is working on the Skyward Sword remake.
Okay, that's fair. Tantalus, we don't know what they're working on right now, right? So
yeah, they confirmed years ago they had an interview where the president person said they were working on several different unannounced Switch games. All of those games remain unannounced. So they could have 2 or 3 different Switch games. And the only thing that Tantalus works on, the only thing they work on is remakes and ports. So, yeah, it's not like they're working on their own original game for the Switch because they've never done that.
Until now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a first time for everything, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, odds are it's probably a remake. But my thought is, if they're assisting with just even less like making assets or, creating environments and stuff with Nintendo, and they had to split off their previous team, they're like, okay, well, if we're going to keep doing this, we got to have a team that's still going to continue working on our games on like Xenoblade and that kind of stuff, and still have enough manpower to not have to split that team in half and be able to work on these other projects that Nintendo wants extra manpower for. So that's kind of my thought, is like them not wanting to divide their labor as much by just bringing more people in. So instead of splitting Team 1 to make Team 1 and 2, they can just keep Team 1 as Team 1 and just bring on a new Team 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my thought is with it. They're just like, okay, well, if we're doing all this extra stuff, we got to hire more people. And without compromising their own projects, right?
Yeah. You played Xenoblade, right?
No.
No? You played none of the Xeno games?
None. I'm a bad person gamer.
You know what they are, though.
I'm a fake girl gamer. I know what they are. I know that Shulk is really annoying in Smash because his counter has too large of a window. But
okay, well,
that's I know of Xenoblade, and I actually think the idea is really cool. And I almost got Xenoblade Chronicles X on Switch. It was on my short list.
Wait, Xenoblade Chronicles X was on Switch?
Wii U.
Wii U, yeah.
On Wii U, my bad. I didn't get it on Wii U because I was looking at it. I was like, this game looks really cool. Maybe I'll get this. And then I thought, this is a game for the Wii U that the Wii U can't run without downloading like 8 gigs of like patches and stuff like that.
They were already working on a game for the Switch when they made it for the Wii U.
Yeah, like that game was too much. They're like, if you want this game to run, by the way, you better download all these data packs because the Wii U ain't trucking on strong enough for this game.
Yeah, Shadow Trust, our Patreon supporter, says Xenogears needs a remake. Xenogears is the original series for Xenoblade because they have like 5 different sub-series in the overall Xeno series that goes all the way back to like the original Sega consoles. So like a lot of people think Xenoblade 1 was the first, and then it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But Monolith Soft made the DLC for Breath of the Wild that they added in there. That was probably like a free thank you from Nintendo for like having them
Chronicles stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
no, it did at the time feel like out of place until I learned that Monolith worked on the game. I was like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably Nintendo being like, all right, we'll give you some free advertising. Zelda.
Yeah. What would be really cool is if
the gear was useful.
Yeah, but think about this. Think about this. So they already had like 170 plus people working on Breath of the Wild. There was the interview a while back with the president, CEO, whatever, of Nintendo that said that they wanted to put a focus on online functionality and creating new DLC even for old popular Nintendo Switch games. So what if Monolith Soft isn't working on... Yeah, Mario Odyssey does need DLC. I thought that was coming like last year, but
yeah, me too, man.
What if Monolith Soft isn't working on a new Zelda game? or they may be helping on a new Zelda game. But what if the main reason for this hiring is for them to create new DLC? Like Nintendo, their primary team, maybe some of the main people from Monolith Soft that helped on Breath of the Wild are all still working on the new game. But Monolith Soft is hiring to work on this new DLC that the president hinted at. That way, Aonuma's not wrong. He isn't working on Breath of the Wild anymore. He's fully going forward with the next Zelda games. But Monolith Soft, on the other hand, isn't Nintendo. So they could be working on. What are your thoughts?
Part of me does wonder if there is A Link to the Past remake coming. If they're working on that. Or if you think probably Grezzo might be more. Probably Grezzo would be a better candidate, but okay, bye Jesse. Well, everyone, now it's the Daniel show, so I'll tell you my thoughts about everything. One, I think Jesse's taller than me, and that just frankly intimidates me. No, it doesn't intimidate me, but I'll tell you a fun story. First time I met Jesse in person, you know, we'd been talking on the internet for like a year or longer. You know, we'd known each other for a while. And I walk into this Airbnb and he gives me a big hug. And I guess I had forgotten to tell him ahead of time that I just don't hug people. So like my whole like shoulders, everything like caved inwards. And also he's a lot bigger than me. He's a lot taller than me too. So he just basically engulfed me and I like got sucked into a black hole of awkwardness and just all of it just. So Daniel is short confirmed. It's true, Duck. It's true. I'm 5'10", so that's not super short, but it's a reasonable height, I feel. But then all my friends are taller than me, so like significantly too. Like they're all like 6'3" or something. So hey man.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hi.
That was a great little story time. You'll find that out when you're editing later.
Nice. Need the Daniel show segment on every Gamescast.
Yeah.
What's your height, Daniel?
5'10". 5'10".
Cool.
It's pretty not that tall.
Are we done talking about this?
I think so. I think we got the everyone got the gist of it.
All right. So tell us about Yoshi. Tell us about the Yoshi, Daniel.
Jesse is a hugger, confirmed. It's true. It's true, guys.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but sure.
Nothing bad. I'm
a hugger.
Anyway. Yoshi. Yes, we were going to talk about Yoshi. Probably people heard about Yoshi's Crafted World. It's a video game and it exists. Some fine folks got. Yesterday I was streaming it on my Twitch for a few hours too, like 4 hours of Yoshi's Crafted World. So this is not a review. Everybody's giving us their heights. Whew. We got Duck is 4'6" and David 6'4". You guys complete each other. You guys are the yin yang of heights. Yoshi is 3 feet 6 inches tall. I think Yoshi's taller than that. Jesse's 6'1". Now I know. All I knew is you're taller than me. I didn't measure you while you're sleeping. That's what you're trying to say. So Yoshi is Yoshi is a game. Just came out on Switch on Friday. And I was very excited for it because I really like Yoshi. I've got all my Yarn Yoshis back behind me here. A boxed green one. I've got all the colors and Poochie. Yoshi games are just very fun.
Speaking of Yarn Yoshi, I purchased a
Yarn and intensifies
Yarn Yoshi Amiibo, I believe, a pink one, for my daughter when she was like a few months old. So
That's quaint. I love it.
I wanted to buy the giant one, but I never was able
Giant
to find
ones.
one.
I've been looking for a giant one that's not super expensive for a long time, and guess what? None of them are fall in that criteria. They're all super expensive. All of them. So Yoshi games, I've always loved them. Yoshi's Island on we all know that. I really liked Yoshi's Story on the N64. Woolly World is forever gonna have a place in my heart for both nostalgia reasons, because that was like the first game, not the first game, but that was one of my son's earliest games that he like really got into, and we would like play together like a lot. Back in the Wii U games when he was like 3, he was obsessed with Yoshi. So that was like the game that solidified it. So Yoshi's Crafted World I was really excited for. It came out, we're playing it, and I've been playing it a lot, and it's a lot of fun. It definitely has not disappointed me, but there are some things that I think I can comfortably say it's not as good as Yoshi's Woolly World. I think that's still probably the better game, not just because it's super personally nostalgic and special to me, but also Yoshi's Woolly World had a real good charm to it and a really great soundtrack and really interesting level designs and stuff like that. And not that Yoshi's Crafted World is lacking that, but it just doesn't hit the same height that Woolly World had. And I was telling Jesse about this a bit before we started the podcast, but my biggest nitpick is the souvenirs. So anyone who started playing Crafted World will know what the souvenirs are, but Jesse with the banana. Oh boy. The souvenirs. Okay, in all your Yoshi games, basically, you've got your flowers that you need to collect, right? And you also get extra points for, if you finish the level with full health, and there's always like 20 hidden red coins in the level. In Yoshi's Woolly World, it was actually the Miiverse stamps that were hidden, but it was a Wii U game, so of course there's Miiverse stamps, right? But you collect all those things, and if you got all the flowers, you bonus level, and in Yoshi's Woolly World, you would unlock a Yoshi that you could play as in each level by collecting all the yarn pieces. So for everything that you collect, there's kind of like an incentive for doing it. Yoshi's Crafted World does not incentivize you the same way with its collectibles.
Hold on. Daniel confirmed earlier, potassium overloads aren't a thing that you have to worry about.
You cut out there. I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Daniel confirmed earlier, potassium overloads aren't a thing you need to worry about.
Yeah, you would have to eat like a lot of bananas to like overdose, like get to go into to have a potassium overdose. Let's Google it, guys. How many bananas do you gotta eat first to die? That's not what I'm looking for, Google. To overdose on potassium. There we go.
The men in black knock on your door and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, were you planning on murdering someone with a banana?"
Oh no. So let me see here. They're saying like, oh, okay. You would have to eat around 400 bananas a day to build up the potassium levels that would cause your heart to stop beating. So, challenge accepted, guys. You gotta eat 400 bananas in one day to die. So, wait, did I just said it'll kill you and then I said challenge accepted? So, I'm getting mixed signals for myself here, but back to Yoshi. He's going for another one.
Only 399 to go.
DK could eat that much, yes, but he's got a lot more body mass than a human. So 400 bananas.
And they work different on the Kong family. They give them extra lives after 100. So
That's true. So 100 is an extra life. So it's, if anything, you can't get to the point that'll kill you because you'll have 4 extra lives by that point.
mm-hmm.
So you're good. So Dan Miller asks, is Yoshi's Crafted World worth the purchase? I would still say yes. If you've enjoyed other Yoshi's games, you'll enjoy this one. But there's definitely, it's not worth being a completionist over. That said, I'm still going to do it. But Yoshi's Woolly World incentivized all of your collectibles. Oh no. because you would get a really good special level for finding all the flowers, and you would get extra Yoshis, like playable characters you could use in each of the levels as well. So there was a reason to go and collect these things, right? In Yoshi's Crafted World, there's not that incentive other than I want to continue. I just want to collect everything, right? And so it doesn't reward that completionism. And there are some things that look really good on paper, like you need to actually spend flowers to proceed to the next world, for example. Like there's a guy that blocks your way. You have to give him like 10 flowers and then he'll get out of your way and you can go to the next world, right? But you would get so many flowers. I'm like, literally, I have like 120 flowers and I meet a guy and he's like, I need 10 flowers before you can pass. I'm like, okay, sure. No big deal. Like it has no effect on me. And the souvenirs are the big thing. That's the nitpick. So in every level, you know, you got your flowers, your red coins, got to finish it with your full health and everything. But then you get to the end of the level, then you can play it in reverse to get the Poochie Pups. Everything is going well. You're having a great time. Then you finish the level, and then you get asked to go find a souvenir, which is an extra collectible in the level. But they will not ask you for it, and so it won't count if you collect it until after you've already beaten the level. So you have to basically replay, and because there's so many of these souvenirs, you basically are ending up having to replay every level 3 to 5 times. And that's kind of the big part where I'm like, I'm getting so done with all these levels because I'm playing them so many times over and over again. So I feel like the game, there's a lot more enjoyability to be had if you're not going to try and 100% complete it. If you just get it and maybe just get all the flowers in that level, get the Poochie Pups or whatever, you can still kind of be a completionist about it, but then just the souvenirs are just extra. It's space. It feels like doing chores at that point. Like, okay, now I did my fun part. Now I gotta go get my chores done and find the thing for the guy. Go throw an egg on an octopus for him, and all this sounds like fun, but you shouldn't throw eggs at octopuses. But octopi, octorocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the right one. So, yeah, I still would say very fun game. I for all my heart being complaining, I actually have been having a lot of fun with it. There's some really cool, cute moments in it, and there's a lot of fun, creative level design and stuff. But definitely not for the completionists. So that's my thoughts, Jesse. Did you have anything to add to that?
I was wondering how the multiplayer is.
Okay, actually, here's another nitpick. That was a good question.
But
so
first, so I was trying to look for them, but I couldn't find them in the chat. Who Dat Man said, "Did you guys see the post from Stealth about Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD?" I did not, and Stealth, being a good friend of ours, been on the podcast multiple times, knowing we are the best Zelda podcast there is.
That's us.
Not coming to us and letting us know about Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I feel my heart is broken. Zora Sapphire 1701 says, "Glad to see your beautiful faces on my feed." Thank you, Zora Sapphire.
Thank you, Zora Sapphire.
You just missed me
$5
eating a banana.
What? I'm trying to find this post by Stealth on Twitter. How long ago was this?
I don't know. Was it an April Fool's thing?
15 hours ago. Hang on. Is this it? I don't know what Best Buy link to the past listing is, but according to a few sources, Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD are both coming to the Switch eShop. Might be related to the Best Buy listing, might not. This is just a rumor, so grain of salt and all that.
So
I took down my original post as I got a little bit more information. I wanted to make it clear that Best Buy listing might not be related to this rumor. Okay, so it's a separate rumor from the Best Buy stuff that we talked about, but wow. I wouldn't be surprised at all because honestly, it's just all the Wii U games.
okay, so do you remember last year standing in line for Mario Tennis Aces, and then you got to play all of the other Nintendo games at E3?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they kind of have to. They force you to play Mario Tennis.
Yeah, so they
Go
had
do your
like
chores before you play the other
7,
game.
8, or 10 Zelda games, or not Zelda games, 7, 8, or 10 different Nintendo Switch games there, and then you had to play like Mario Tennis Aces.
Like,
okay,
yeah, so you could play Mario Tennis, and then you go. There's like Starlink. There's like Killer Queen Black. All these other games, and then there's like FIFA, which no one's playing. So, but on all these other games that everyone is.
yeah. So imagine, like whatever game it is that they force you to play, and then you get to your choice of like, say there's like 10 different Nintendo games there, but if all of these rumors and leaks are true, then it's like
Metroid Prime,
yeah,
Trilogy,
now you have your pick between Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, Link to the Past HD, Link's Awakening HD, Metroid Prime Trilogy HD.
I'll never want to leave. You guys are gonna be like, Daniel, come on, we gotta go to the other booths. We're like, but it's Metroid and Zelda. Oh, heavenly! That's what it would be. No, oh, they shouldn't do that. It's just too much. Then it creates self-competition, right? You want to have the one killer thing that everyone wants.
Honestly,
But
most people would just buy all of them.
I would.
Like,
I'm guilty.
yeah.
But yeah,
Multiplayer.
multiplayer.
Yoshi
So
player.
Yoshi's Woolly World had really fun multiplayer. It had new Super Mario Bros. Style multiplayer. You're both on screen together and you're jumping around.
Oh, Matt Fry brings up something interesting.
Okay. Starlink confirmed. Okay, for the uninitiated. I make a lot of jokes on my streams on Twitch, guys. None of them are factual. Link is not in Starlink yet. Banana. But yeah, so but it was nice to multiplayer in Woolly World was nice. You can, if you run out of yarn balls or Yoshi's eggs, you can use your ally instead. And it creates some neat little opportunities to throw each other to places you can't quite reach, that kind of thing, right? This is mesmerizing. This banana. The Yoshi's Crafted World, on paper, the improvements seem really cool, but there's some real downsides or downgrades, I would say, to the multiplayer. So you can no longer put your teammate into an egg and throw them.
You can't?
So if you cannot. So if you run out of yarn, you can't improvise and use each other, or eggs, sorry. In Yoshi's Woolly World, if you were playing co-op and then you guys ran out of ammunition, you can improvise and use each other, and you basically have like at least a backup plan. You can no longer do that in Crafted World. And there's this mechanic they added, which seems like a good idea, where you can have it so that Yoshi, not unlike Tropical Freeze, where one Yoshi can basically ride on the other one, and then while you're doing that, one will run and jump, the other one will throw eggs, and your ground pounds and stuff will be more effective. And it seems like, okay, hey, that's really cool. but the way it's implemented is actually really annoying because basically anytime you jump and your paths come even close to each other, you'll just like snap onto being joined that way. And when you're playing a platformer game in co-op, that is going to happen a lot, where you're going to be jumping together and stuff. And if one of you is riding on the other one, the one that's on the bottom Yoshi cannot throw his eggs. Only the top one can. So it basically handicaps you. And if say you're trying to throw something and you jump to throw something and then your friend jumps on you, then you just get gimped and you fall down and you can't jump. And it just really interrupts the flow of the gameplay having this mechanic. And it's like, it seems well designed, but if they had made it so that you don't actually jump on each other, but you have to like press a button while jumping, like an extra button, like Tropical Freeze does, sure, that's great. But because it accidentally happens so frequently, it makes me just never want to play co-op. And that makes me sad because Woolly World, I played co-op the whole way through. I played it single player and co-op, and I played it over. Tons of fun. But this game makes me not want to play co-op. And it's sad because I want to play Yoshi with my kid. He's 6 years old. He loves Yoshi. We had a great time playing Yoshi's Spoil World together, so we got a new Yoshi game. He's all excited about it. Play it together, right? And then I play it, and I'm just like, it's so frustrating, dude. I have a great time playing single player, but I just don't have fun doing multiplayer because of this one mechanic where you jump on each other. So that's all, folks. I aired my grievances. Other than that, it's pretty standard 2D platformer co-op for whatever that is today, you know. But
all right. And on a scale,
I definitely think it's a single player experience is superior.
On a scale of too much water to 8 out of 8, how do you rank this Yoshi game?
Game? I would give it. Jeez, that's hard because if it's 8 out of 8, I'm feeling great, mate. I would honestly say like a 75% is like what I'd rate it. Like, I have a great time. I think it's fun. It's worth the buy, worth the playthrough. But I think there's a lot of. I don't think it's anywhere near a perfect game. And it kind of is disappointing to say. I was really looking forward to this game, like, a lot. You know, you guys have heard me for years since this was announced, being like, Yoshi, give me Yoshi, you know, and I'm sad about it, but I still like it. I still am having a fun time, but it's just not as magical as its older brother. So
7.5 bananas out of 10.
Out of 10 bananas. Yeah.
That's still really good.
It's still good. I for all my complaining, so much good stuff, but
have we not seen the Switch reveal? I've been looking forward to that.
The Switch reveal?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Nintendo's new console.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be codenamed.
Isn't it called the NX?
It used to be.
Oh, when did they change that?
I don't know. Apparently every Zelda game is coming.
Oh, yeah. Actually, okay, IGN made a really funny April Fool's Day video.
Do you remember their first April Fool's video?
The Zelda movie one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is fun. The one they made this year, it's a Nintendo Direct. It starts out very convincingly, and they announce Ocarina of Time HD for Switch to start this Nintendo Direct, and then they just keep announcing games, and then it gets more and more ridiculous. And he goes, everything is coming to Switch, and we mean everything. And he keeps like cutting away to all these. It's hilarious. It's really funny. I would definitely say go watch it. It's one of the best April Fool's Day videos. it starts. They have the absurdity curve nailed like so perfectly, where they start out with something believable, and then they just gradually make it more and more absurd. And it's there were some like things that like seemed like they would be really good, and now so they're like, no, Metal Gear Solid 2 coming to Switch. Ocarina of Time coming to Switch. Same with Majora's Mask is also coming to Switch, and all these announcements like Bubsy 3D coming to Switch, and then there was like Real Housewives of Orange County and Knuckles, and which is probably my favorite of the announcements they did in there. So that was it was a really great April, probably my favorite ever. I saw one like some of the April Fool's videos kind of weak. There was one where it was just a Rickroll, and it was like, really? That's all you got is a Rickroll? That's like, what year is it? Man, is it like 2007?
I'm surprised no one has done a Rickrolled video to where it starts like that, but then the actual singer guy like stops singing and he's like, no, seriously, it's coming.
Like, he just stops. And he's
Yeah, like
just,
like
no,
they
seriously.
just like hire the person to announce something.
That would be hilarious. They should do that. They should do that.
I think we can go to the theory thing now, right? There's just all these bananas. I don't know what to do.
How many bananas do you have?
Well, there was 5. One of
Oh.
them disappeared.
Oh, I wonder where it went.
Oh, I don't know.
Who we?
Yeah, so what are we going to do? Shadow Temple?
I'm just reopening the page up here. There's a lot of these theory ones. But yeah, man, whatever you want to do. How many of these theories you want to cover?
I was thinking just doing one. Like just doing the Shadow Temple and then just reading off some of the things that it has. Because I think the Shadow Temple is like the most mysterious, anyways.
Okay. I like there's like a forest temple section on here.
Oh, we can do it.
It's
short
boring.
and simple.
It's a really boring theory, actually. It's just a boring one. The Shadow Temple's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but we
that's
can
the
just
good
pick like
stuff.
1 or 2 each, though. And most of them are like a paragraph long. So.
Yeah, man.
All right, we'll do that then. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast. Here with us is myself, Game Over Jesse, and Daniel, Captain Bergerson himself. Today on the Hylian Gamescast, we're going to be discussing the Shadow Temple. Do you know of the Shadow Temple, Daniel?
It's a scary one.
It is. There's
It's
blood and
scary.
bones and everything everywhere. So,
Visible giant spiders.
yes. So you guys always request us to discuss different theories or different lists and stuff. So today we're going to be discussing the Shadow Temple and a few different theories on its purpose, origins, and everything. So this all comes from fantheories.fandom, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. There will be a link in the description if anyone wants to read along with us. But it starts out, Shadow Temple. Here is gathered Hyrule's bloody history of greed and hatred. A quote from a painting. Do you enjoy your quotes from paintings, Daniel?
I do. Most of the time. I once had a painting. I was looking at it and it said, "When you stare at me like that, you make me feel self-conscious." And I was like, that's a weird quote from a painting.
It is.
But I guess I understand where you're coming from. So I took the painting and I put it in a closet. Just shut the door. No one has to look at that ever again.
Now it gets
And that's where why the Mona Lisa's been missing for 2 years. Is that the museum? I just took it down, put it in the closet, and just shut the door.
Now, it gets a bit
So hard to
interesting
do.
when you consider every uh, alternative world in Super Mario 64 is accessed through a painting. It all exists inside of a
Hmm.
painting. There are also
And Mario
Ganondorf
Odyssey
is able
causes
to.
like portals through paintings
Yeah,
too.
Ganondorf is also able to go inside of paintings, or Phantom Ganon.
Phantom, yeah.
And then we have A Link Between Worlds. All of the sages or whoever get trapped in paintings. I forget what they're called in Link Between Worlds.
The the sages get
Are they
trapped,
called sages?
or at least they're descendants of sages, and then they awaken as sages, much like OOT.
Yeah. So
Oot.
the quote from the painting could be like that. It could literally be someone trapped inside the painting if we go by other Zelda lore. Saying, "Hey, there's bloody
man.
history," or it could
You
have
wouldn't
just
believe the stuff I've seen in here.
yeah. So, anyways,
You sure you want to come this way?
joking aside, it goes on to say the Shadow Temple is the seventh dungeon from The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Interestingly, the Shadow Temple's Japanese name,
it?
Yami no Shinden, is the same name used for Palace of Darkness in the Japanese localization of A Link to the Past. Ocarina of Time, interestingly, I have to read like around my microphone, so I'm like, I'll just hold it.
Which one in Link to the Past is the Palace of Darkness? Is that the Eastern Palace's Dark World equivalent, or?
I think, I don't know.
I believe it is. Yes, it
Uh,
is. I looked on the wiki.
it has this twice, like the same paragraph repeated.
Does it?
Yeah, that's odd.
Ooh.
So the first theory here is its original purpose. One theory about the evil original intentions of the Shadow Temple is that it was built to absorb and concentrate all the evil, in quotes, and negative feelings of Hyrule, such as greed, hatred, jealousy, etc., all of which can form a breeding ground for what will come to grow into a corrupted world. Assuming that this statement is plausible, it would mean that the Shadow Temple was in fact built for the purpose of preserving peace and calm in Hyrule, making sure it would remain a healthy and prosperous country by simply taking in all conceivable malice and negative emotions, and not to be a dark, twisted torture chamber, which is easily assumed by the interiors and overall eerie feel the temple offers. Subsequently, this would mean that the Shadow Temple would have to reap the penalty of the wrongdoings of the entire world of Hyrule. Again, if plausible, this could certainly reduce the temple to nothing more than a frightening, distorted nightmare. Accordingly, this theory is based upon clues whispered by skull paintings in the Shadow Temple. Because of the presence of many torture and execution devices, it is also believed the Shadow Temple may have been used for human sacrifice. Why the potential sacrifice took place is, however, unknown, bringing doubt to this theory. No, so I think the original doubt is the first part there. I don't think that, like, that may be what it was made for. Like, I think
Yeah.
instead of a place to like seal all the evil, I think like if you take it literal, I don't know if it would be literally or what the right word would be, but I don't think it's where like the evil itself was taken. I think it's just where people with evil in their hearts were taken to like behead or whatever, because there's like guillotines and stuff in there. So
Yeah, well, that's kind of the idea I always had, was that it's something sort of like their own sort of, Alcatraz or Guantanamo Bay, like Hyrule's Guantanamo Bay, like this secret prison. And something in Creating a Champion that I've been reading the last few days. That book is great. I breezed through 300 pages of it the other day in like a sitting. That was basically how I spent Sunday. It mentions that when the Sheikah split into the Yiga clan and their current iteration that lives in Kakariko Village, the Sheikah that lived in Kakariko Village chose to live peaceful lives, while the Sheikah that broke off and became the Yiga clan retained their original purpose as assassins. And it's interesting that it specifically words it as their original purpose, meaning because the Sheikah we know were like agents of the royal family that operated in the shadows. I think before that they were servants of the goddess, but then they became sort of these shadow assassin ninja people for the royal family after that, because the royal family is like literally the bloodline of the goddess. And I figure that this is sort of like, because you see the Sheikah symbol all over the place, that it's something that they basically use as their like, oh, the royal family wants this person gone or whatever. They take them to the Shadow Temple and they, do the dirty work that the actual royal family doesn't want to dirty their hands with. So it's kind of messed up. It's kind of freaky deaky stuff. But
I like it.
It's that's always been my personal take on it. But yeah, man.
All right, take us to another one of these theories.
Yeah, well, I really like they've got the most stuff here on the Shadow Temple. There's a lot of other really weak theories on this page. So let's jump through another one of the Shadow Temple theories that it's got listed here. So prison. It says another more likely possibility is the temple was used by the Sheikah. Okay, yeah, here we go. To punish and imprison enemies of the royal family of Hyrule. Similar to the original purpose of the Arbiter's Grounds in Twilight Princess, this is due to similarities between two dungeons that contain many ghosts, undead enemies, presumably tormented souls and animated corpses of prisoners once held there. This could also explain the temple's layout as a design to prevent escape, possibly even designed to contain their evil souls to prevent them from ever taking revenge on the living. That last part's actually kind of neat, if you think about it. In addition to being a temple, it may have also been used as a sort of training for the Sheikah, similar to the Gerudo's training ground. Oh wow! Oh wow! That is, I love that it's got the vicious sickle. That is, the more I look at it, the more amazing it becomes. That is amazing, Abigail. Oh my god. Oh no, that's great. Ah, I love it. I'm gonna go on Discord. And was that on just the main Discord? I'm gonna save that. Where it be? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, Abigail, that's just brilliant. I love it. Well, anyways, yeah, their own theory in it is kind of similar to what I was saying, as well. But there's another quick thing here. It says, due to their similar themes of close proximity, it's possible that the bottom of the well and the Shadow Temple are somehow related, either serving a similar purpose and / or even as part of the Sheikah-controlled prison system. So part of a theory I always had was that they were actually at one point connected and a part of the same, facility, but at one point, whatever hallway or whatever connected them got like blocked off. That was always what I thought to be the case with them, because they are so similar. They even have the same music, everything. They are so similar that there's, to me, it just feels like there's got to be something to it. But I do feel like it has to be something related to the Sheikah doing stuff for the royal family, especially because there's like both the water level and the bottom of the well is controlled by, when you're inside there, you could lower it by playing Zelda's Lullaby, and there's the Triforce, like the royal family crest, and then the boat in the Shadow Temple is also controlled by the same means with the Triforce crest there too. So, yeah, Jesse, take us away. What's the next thing I'm gonna do?
So I guess the final theory that we can cover here for all of this is, I don't know if it counts as a theory, but so it says fourth or fifth temple. This is kind of an obscure fact that I've always liked. There seems to be a minor contradiction in the game during indications of whether the Shadow Temple is the fourth or the fifth temple. By looking at the order of the medallions on the quest subscreen, it is revealed that the Spirit Temple is intended to be completed before the Shadow Temple. However, story-wise, the Spirit Temple is the last major temple. The need for the Lens of Truth to cross the haunted wasteland and find the Spirit Temple also seems to imply that the Shadow Temple is intended to be completed before the Spirit Temple. As the Lens of Truth is acquired in the Shadow Temple sections of Link's quest. However, the hover boots are never needed to reach or complete the Spirit Temple, only serving to remove the difficulty curve to some extent in certain puzzles of that temple. In fact, most locations within Gerudo's Fortress, the Haunted Wasteland, and Desert Colossus, and the Spirit Temple, where the hover boots may be found useful, the long shot can be used instead, which becomes apparent at the River of Sand and the Haunted Wasteland. However, despite this lack of use of the hover boots within the Spirit Temple and at related locations, the Silver Gauntlets and Mirror Shield found in the Spirit Temple provide no extra assistance within the Shadow Temple. The Shadow Temple is generally regarded as the fourth temple because Sheik, when making her original appearance, mentions each temple in what seems to be an order of completion, where the Shadow Temple is mentioned before the Spirit Temple. Also, the game's official strategy guide directs readers to complete the Shadow Temple directly after completing the Water Temple.
Also, Navi will have you, if you follow Navi's prompts of where to go, she'll have you complete the Shadow Temple first as well.
Yeah, I think it's a situation to where we know Ocarina of Time went through like a dozen different versions. There was like the original Zelda 64 where it was all on like a normal disc, and then it was split to where it was like half cartridge, half disc, and then it became just cartridge, and then even that version of Ocarina of Time being on the cartridge went through different versions. So maybe at one point, like, they were just intended to maybe be completed in any order, like A Link to the Past. Like, you do the first three, and then when you go to the Dark World, you can kind of choose whichever one you want to go to, I think. So maybe it was originally like that, but then they ended up making it more story focused to where you had to go to certain places, and then like you can complete the Spirit Temple before the Shadow Temple, but you don't like the story doesn't push you to do that. It pushes you towards the Shadow Temple because like it's natural to just go back to Kakariko Village, and when you go back to Kakariko Village, surprise, demon ghost thing breaks out of the well. And then
Ooh.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably something that got changed around during development and they never fixed it. It's like the Triforce showing on the quest subscreen.
Yeah.
But you never actually get it, you know? But there's a slot for it technically on the subscreen.
Yeah. That's
so
all
it's
probably part of the Ura thing, to where it's like,
exactly.
Here's three more dungeons where you can get each piece of the Triforce, but in the game you already get the Triforce. So
you know how they Anuma says like they'll reuse ideas like years even later in future Zelda games, and in Skyward Sword there's this Skykeep, which is a great last temple, which is awesome. And sorry guys, spoiler alert. In that temple you go through 3 sections of the temple and get the Triforce pieces themselves. And I thought
it's like a consolidated Wind Waker Triforce quest.
Yeah, like a really consolidated one. But instead of going over all the different parts of the world, they give you a dungeon that has elements from all the different parts of the world, which is pretty cool. And I feel like maybe this is sort of a remnant of an idea of a missing light temple that maybe was supposed to be in Ocarina of Time. Right? I don't know. And maybe that's where that sort of thing would have occurred in the game to fill that section of the subscreen. It's just a big ol' speculation. A video game big ol' speculation.
Yeah. So I think we're ready to answer questions. So do you want to start us off, Mr. D-Man?
Oh, for sure. Well, guys.
I like how Tubes came in for 5 minutes, seeing we had bananas.
Yeah,
and then
she left. Rude.
She's like, okay. They lost it.
Trending on Twitter. Choops is rude.
Yeah, it's true because it's rhymes.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of.
So I feel another sneeze coming on, but it's not quite here yet. But we'll do an intro thing. Hey everybody, welcome to the mailbag. This is the Zelda mailbag. We call it the Zelda mailbag, but you can ask us other questions that aren't necessarily Zelda as well. And this is the part where the podcast where we answer questions. Did you probably figured that part out? Hey, sometimes, guess what, Jesse? Guess what? We have too many questions sometimes.
No way.
We just can't do them all. In fact, that has been the trend lately. Because we've got a backlog of questions we've been trying to get through, and we can't always answer all the questions. So if you want to guarantee your question gets answered at some point when we're doing this,
what do you
consider popping over to Patreon, supporting our good friend Mr. Gamo Berjebi. That's him, and consider supporting him, and we'll guarantee that your question gets answered, and you'll get a shout out in the video, just like these fine folks did, like Wild Horse 64, Samuel, Rand Jammin, Foxo, Andrew, Jonathan, David, Amanda, Jacob, Derek, Blargnar, Michelle, Mandy Lee Plays, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Vortex, Gus, Monica, Link Use the Triforce, Lunarium, Shout Out to Us, Rusty, Lovable Christy. Oh my god, I almost say Crispy. Lovable Christy, Fallen Echo, and Halo Justin. So thank you guys for supporting the channel, supporting Jesse. And yes, let's hop in with the. Did you have one picked out already, or?
No,
or
but I do have a question.
Are you a patron?
No, but in Mario Kart.
Well, then too bad, Jess. Sorry, go ahead.
In Mario Kart, when you get a banana, do they eat the banana before they throw the banana peel, or do they waste the banana?
I think they waste it. You don't have time to eat while you're Mario Karting. There's no time. There's no time, guys. You can't.
Nug Gotti from the live chat says, Have either of you played Ocarina of Time online yet? No, sadly.
Not yet.
We have a friend who's literally the person that's making it, but we have yet to play it.
Oh, are you talking about Melon?
Yeah, Melons.
Yeah.
Melon speedruns.
Speedruns is he's a real good dude.
He's a real person. He exists.
He is a real person. He is he's good. He also
we're not making him up.
He came on my stream once and we played Smash together. And he's a fun dude. And he's making this really cool thing I think Tony's had a few videos of channel for games, but I've seen a few other sites reporting on it. And I think She Says recently credited him in a video as well, helping him with something on Boundary Break. So yeah, he's making his rounds around the community. Everybody loves Melons. I think Zeltic also just recently found out about this project coming into existence, even though we knew about it for like a year, but but that's okay.
It kind of seems like it goes that way. Like, not with just Zeltic, but I'll notice, like, we'll make a video about something, and then months later, like, tons of people start talking about it, and I'm like, how is this news? Like,
it's not news, because we already knew.
Yeah, like, I understand it's new to anyone. Like, you could come across something 10 years later and be like, oh, this is new. Kind of like how we came across the Twilight Princess 2 and Ocarina of Time 3-cool or whatever. All that stuff.
And that was like, we were late on the boat with those ones.
Yeah, like 20. No, more like 10 years late. Because, like, that was all information revealed, like, before the game actually came out. But, yeah, so, like, yeah, like, we'll make news about something, and then suddenly it'll get popular. I remember the first time that happened was the video that I made about the first Zelda. Originally had a dungeon maker in it, and I had written the article for a Zelda website, and then they thought it was like no one would care about it, and then IGN ended up making a video about it, and then they ended up covering IGN's video, and I'm like, you could have had this like weeks before everyone else, and
you could have been the original.
Yeah, IGN could have been talking
this.
about your video.
yeah, for real though.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Austin John Plays made a video about it. Apparently, that's cool. That guy follows me on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's how I found out about him. I was like, oh, hey, and actually, he's got a really good channel. He's got some really cool.
He randomly, my little brother was a fan of his for like his Breath of the Wild videos on making different costumes and stuff. Mm-hmm. So one day my brother was streaming Breath of the Wild when the game first came out, and Austin John Plays came in the live stream.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah. So apparently he was a fan of the channel, and then he joined the Discord and he got on voice chat with us, and my little brother got to talk to him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did Jared have like did he like fanboy out? Did he have a
No, he didn't really care.
Oh.
Because he doesn't understand, like, this is someone on YouTube. Because, like, he's used to me, I guess, being, like, really well known on Zelda YouTube stuff. So he's just like, so it's just like another idiot talking about Zelda.
Yeah. I'd be psyched. I like that guy's videos a lot. Like, I don't know. Like, pretty much anyone, like, I meet anyone in the Zelda community or on YouTube, and I get super psyched about it. Not a big deal. Yeah. We talked to Tony. This channel has more subscribers, technically. But I'm like, I really love Tony's videos. So when we had him on the podcast, I was, like, fanboying out. And I'm like, So it's like, like, you know, I just get psyched about everything. So I have, like, the opposite reaction. Even though I know all these people in the community, I always get, like, super excited about it. I'm like, it's this guy.
And then there's tons of people that get excited to talk to you. So it goes full circle.
For some reason, I'm not that exciting a person, but I'm just a big old geek. I'm just a big nerd. Yep. Well, I guess we should grab another question from the
pick a
mail.
question.
This is why we don't get through all the questions. This is the real reason, guys.
There's too many bananas.
We don't have Tube here telling us to go and like keep us on track, so we get sidetracked. Let's see what's in this mailbag. Ooh. John Ice Veins asks, what are your thoughts on the theory that the fortune teller is the Queen of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild? Also, just general speculations on the Queen and her death. And which Sheikah do you think was Cass's teacher? Okay, so this is three-part question. First part, which Sheikah was Cass's teacher? He was a court poet who survived the calamity but died before Breath of the Wild, gameplay-wise, exists. Before that part began. We definitely do not see him at any point during the game, but
I don't know who you're talking about.
Because he's already dead. The court Cass's mentor in Breath of the Wild.
Okay. He was the fortune teller?
No. This is a two-part question. Who was Cass's mentor? So we don't actually see him in the game, but he was a poet who fell in love with Zelda during the 100 years ago part of the game, portion of the game's timeline. But he survived the calamity, but died before Link wakes up 100 years later. So, as for the fortune teller, what are your thoughts that the fortune teller is the Queen of Hyrule? I don't actually... So, this is another thing, actually. Creating a champion mentions it slightly, but I don't think it is very likely. And the only reason is that in the King's Journal, he mentions the fortune teller said this. But when he mentions the queen dying, he's like, my wife died, blah, blah, blah. If they were the same person, he wouldn't be like, the fortune teller's prophecy is blah, blah. He'd be like, my wife's prophecy, the queen's prophecy. You know, the verbiage would be really different. So, personally, I don't put stock in that theory, but it is a neat theory, like because we do know that Zeldas of the past have had like the power of premonitions and visions and stuff.
Yeah, they have the
Um,
wisdom thing.
exactly, yeah. So it would be neat, but I don't think that's the case personally. But
Yeah,
what do
and
you think, Jesse?
there's been fortune tellers in Zelda games before. Usually they just like lead you to pieces of hearts and stuff. Like Twilight
Yeah.
Princess has
Not
the
predicting the end of the world. So,
yeah. Twilight Princess has the fortune teller.
Fanati.
Yeah. She's one of the 3 supposed Sheikah people in Twilight Princess. Because they all have
there's her,
the different...
Impaz, and who else?
No, Impaz is a confirmed Sheikah.
Oh, okay. So there's 3 unconfirmed ones. So there's
Yeah.
Fanati, and then who else?
The Bug Girl and...
Agatha?
Yeah.
Really?
Because they all have the red, blue, and green jewels under their eyes.
Okay. Who's the third one then? How's that?
I forgot.
Oh no.
It was all in the huge video that we did on Agatha.
Right.
Let me
I
look
need to
this up
rewatch that,
really
I guess.
quick. Agatha theory.
Duck Guts in the chat asked Daniel, do you have a channel? Okay, so you probably see in the chat NSHG Films. That is me, but I am working on something else right now. So your best bet's to follow me on Twitter and just kind of stay tuned. So, Abigail said perhaps he wanted to protect her identity and just referred to it as the fortune teller. Perhaps he feared that the Yiga would try to kill the one who predicted Ganon's return.
Telma.
So, oh yeah, tell him. Okay,
Because they all
Okay,
have the
Telma.
jewels under their eyes. And then with Fanati,
she has like this Sheikah symbol, doesn't she?
Yeah, she has the Sheikah symbol on her head, and then her name is made up of the first 2 or 3 words of the beginning of each of the goddesses' names.
Right, like Feror, Nehru, Din,
Yeah.
Nadi. Okay,
And
that's a neat detail. I never actually thought of that.
very similarly, Ordona's name is made up of all 3 of the goddesses' names as well.
Oh, you're right.
And then...
Or like from Feror and then... Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Jesse, I'm learning
those
things.
those 2 characters both have their names made up from all 3 of the goddesses. And since the dragons and the light spirits are all also named after the goddesses,
In some capacity.
yeah, it's like they're all named after each other, basically. And then those 2 have their names shared together by being a mix of the other characters.
Neat.
Yeah. Huh. And then if that wasn't enough to make her part of the Sheikah, she has the symbol tattooed on her forehead.
Yeah, that one's pretty... Like, the only other characters we've seen with that are other Sheikah members. So
Yeah. I think Impa in Skyward Sword has it tattooed on her forehead.
Yep, and then a bunch of the monks in Breath of the Wild, as well as Impa and Paya, also have that same tattoo.
Yeah. Probably pisses off Impaz, though, who's like trapped in the original Kakariko village. Because she's like, you're supposed to be a fellow Sheikah member, but you're just making money in Hyrule Castle instead of trying to help your sister.
Oops.
Yeah.
But yeah, this theory with the queen, Abigail brings up a good point about the king trying to protect her identity from the Yiga. I like that idea, but would he still do it that in his like own personal journal? You know, that's like hidden in the castle in his study. you wouldn't think so, at least. I don't know. Like maybe publicly he wouldn't make it known, but then like in his own personal journal he might like just write about it differently. I don't know. But it's still a cool theory that I've seen around.
It is.
It is. It's still cool.
Um,
Cool.
Yeah. Another question. There's one earlier that I seen. Comes from Ruben Spears. Says, "Are you middle Jesus Rock's son?" No, I'm not. But Tony, who we were talking about earlier, middle Jesus Rocks flew Tony out to do some videos with him a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Hard for Games.
That was cool.
But then his real question is, why isn't there more Zelda merch, like official costumes for a cosplay? And that's basically...
there's the Woodland Warrior costume.
Oh, yeah. The knockoff thing. Yeah, so Nintendo has a really strict quality control thing on their stuff, so that's why.
But there is some cool official Zelda merch out there. You could probably find some around somewhere.
Yeah, the thing is,
Just saying,
Nintendo can release limited Zelda merch, and that guarantees they can overcharge for it, because if there was just tons of Zelda merch, then
people would be wishy-washy about like, oh, I could get it. If
but
there's a limited run, Zelda fans could be like, I need it now.
Yeah, that's why it's like $500 to get the Skull Kid statue from First Four Figures.
Yep.
Do you have a final question, Daniel?
Yeah, where are the bananas? Yes. Great. Trying to find one in the chat here. Abigail, who's in the chat, actually had put this in Discord. It's 2 questions, actually, that I pulled from the mailbag section of Discord. If you guys are wondering where to submit questions, other than the live chat, you can join Discord as well, and there's Zelda mailbag channel on the Discord to submit that in. But her 2 questions, 2-part question again. What Nintendo franchise should get a spin-off where you play as the villain?
I remember this question. I seen it earlier.
And what would the gameplay be like? And what underrated Zelda character do you think should be made into an amiibo? And what would that amiibo unlock?
It's a crime. The only spin-off Zelda game with the side character is Tingle's 4 games.
Yep. And don't forget Zelda's Wand of Gamelon.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. How could you forget? Zelda's Adventure for the Philips CDI.
I prefer Link's Adventure, or Adventure of Link.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. So,
underrated Zelda character that should get an amiibo, and Nintendo franchise. Well, underrated character, Beetle. Give me a Beetle amiibo.
That's my answer to both. I want to play as Beetle, and I want to...
Beetle's not a villain, though.
Oh.
So what? Alright, so we want a Beetle amiibo.
Well, he kind of is. He, like, drops you out of the sky if you don't buy something from him.
In Skyward Sword, in Breath of the Wild, he is far from villain. You could literally run and knock him on his ass. Sorry, I said it bad. You could run and knock him over on his, and he would land on his posterior, and he will get up and be just happy to see you. So, very different take on Beetle from Skyward Sword. What Nintendo franchise should get a villain in which you, or a spin-off where you play as a villain?
Oh, let me play as Skull Kid a few months before Majora's Mask, where you just go around doing pranks on everyone.
Pranking people and stuff? Oh my goodness. I actually think Mario. Because Bowser's kind of a funny, incidental sort of villain anyways, where you're not going to feel like too bad playing as Bowser. And plus, spoiler alert for the uninitiated, the end of Mario Odyssey. Again, I'm just giving some breadth for the people that want to avoid the spoiler, even though the game's a couple years old now. The end of Mario Odyssey, where you play as Bowser, where you use Cappy on him and play as Bowser, is so fun. It's so fun. I want to play as Bowser more. But it'd be fun to play as Bowser and like command a bunch of Koopa Troopas and Goombas. And it would just, because it's Mario, it wouldn't be too serious. So you could just have a goofy time and just have Bowser being like, and just you have a good time. I would say that would be fun. It'd be a fun game.
Or a Metroid game where instead of playing as Metroid, you play as one of the bad guys. What are they called in Metroid? What are the bad guys called? Ridley. Yeah, you play as Ridley.
Barney.
But Ridley would be too big. Yeah, so instead of playing as Metroid, you play as Ridley. Yeah. And then I guess like a final question, because I like the idea of it. Slice of Sprite says, whatever happened to that 3D Zelda game demo that was super HD and looks like Twilight Princess sequel, and it consisted of Link fighting a giant spider? That was the Zelda Wii U tech demo. That was what Nintendo, Aonuma specifically, told us a possible Twilight Princess HD remake could look like if it was designed for the Wii U. But then when he released a Twilight Princess HD for the Wii U, it looked nothing like it.
It'd be really cool if it did, though.
Yeah.
Although I don't know why Navi wasn't.
Yeah, that was like maybe the Wii version, because like maybe most people remembered Twilight Princess Link with the fairy.
I guess. I still hated that in the Wii version.
Did he just describe Bowser's inside story? I don't remember what Bowser's inside story was about. I remember he was like dreaming or something.
Don't you still play as Mario and Luigi in
Maybe
Bowser's
you can
Inside
switch.
Story? I haven't played Bowser's Inside Story, so I only know from the trailers. But I mean, you can play all these characters in Smash. But
who is Samus?
Samus.
RPG
Samosas.
says you play Samus, really, because Metroids are kind of the bad guys. Well, in this game, the
Samosas.
Metroid would be the bad guy in this game, because you'd be playing as Ridley.
Oh, you're killing me, Jesse. Okay, but what would our Beetle Amiibo unlock in game? Or what would it do?
It would drop a chest down that would just have random supplies that Beetle carries. Or maybe it would give you like
a rugged rhino beetle.
Or maybe he would give you like no, it would be cool if like he just showed up, like it just materialized him in the world, kind of like
And he's like shocked about it. He's just like super surprised about it. He's like, what?
And then he just hands you his bag of goods and runs away. It's like, I'm not supposed to be here.
Oh no. Yeah, that'd be really funny actually.
Take this so I can run faster.
Oh, poor Beetle.
And
he deserves better.
And that's how you get Deku sticks in the game.
Ah, good. I need it for fighting Thunder Blight Ganon. You just parry him and then you jump attack with a Deku stick.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's everything. Daniel, who are you? What are you doing here?
Who are you and what do you do? I'm Daniel. I guess if you want to see my face or listen to my voice, you can check me out on the websites that exist on the internet. No, there's Twitter and Instagram and Twitch. You can follow me at Capt Burgerson, CaptBurgerson. On the other side of things, there's going to be some change coming. So for now, stick with those ones, Twitter and Twitch in particular. Instagram's fun. That's just pictures though. But mostly Twitter so that you know when I go live on Twitch. I stream typically Tuesdays and Wednesdays during the day, earlier in the day. and we play a lot of Zelda games. Although I've been playing, started today a game of Starlink, but been playing through many Zeldas as well. So mostly Zelda, I would say, is the focus of Twitch. But yeah, that's me. Capt Bergerson. And also, if you really want to chat with me, I'm also on Discord in Jesse's Discord server, so you feel free to, find me. Jesse's asleep, I guess, so I put him to sleep with my boring social media plugs. So, Jesse, who are you?
I am Jack.
Okay.
I have powers that I don't know what they are. I can, go through glass.
Oh, neat.
And I fight squirrels?
Raccoons?
Raccoons. I fight raccoons.
Seems legit.
And I can turn into fire? I think.
Just become fire.
Yeah. No, so my name is Jesse. I am here to keep you guys happy. And yeah, everything is /GameOverJesse. Twitter.com /GameOverJesse. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, MySpace. It's all there. /GameOverJesse. And join our Discord.
Yeah.
Did we have a good show, Daniel?
It's like, I think we did. I think you got a good Discord too. There's a slight brag. The most active Zelda Discord
in the world.
Period. Yeah, just completely.
Yeah. There's a bunch of cool people
quick,
on
before
there.
We go, Ruben Spears in the live chat said Marin Amiibo for Link's Awakening would be really cool.
Yeah.
First Amiibo to make sound, and it does that whistle. I pay anything. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Daniel
Marin
has
Amiibo would be super
a small Amiibo collection.
Yeah, I only have a handful, only a few of them.
We should.
Oh no!
Can you imagine going back to? Because I just seen the mask from Fallout. Imagine going back to E3 and just handing the mask back to Bethesda. I want my money back.
Thank you for the loan. I borrowed this for a year.
Yeah. And just have each of us, you, me, Gibbs, Kayla, all go back at different times at different days, and then they just be like, what? Why are they doing this?
What are they? Why are you doing this to us? We should get another set of these masks and then customize them to make them in our likeness. And then what you do is you wear the mask
into
of yourself, and then you take it off.
Oh.
And then it's just you.
Yeah. Daniel, you definitely aren't addicted to Amiibo.
I'm not. Nope, definitely not.
Find him on Twitter at JackJack. Go through class and become fire.
Oh, RPG, I love it.
It's on Netflix. Go watch it, guys.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, Layla laughed really hard at that part where he does that and he fights with the raccoon.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.